This conversation is with the CEO and founder of Mognite, Siddhant Sethi. We talked about numerous topics from business, tech, finance to spirituality. Before we dive deep in the interview, make sure to follow us on Spotify for more such episodes. Enjoy yourselves. Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm your host for today's episode and we'll be doing a rant about random topics that we find interesting. First of all, we'll start with the introduction, right? So I'm Raghav, I'm the CTO at Mognite and also the host of this show. Today as a guest, we have Siddhant, the CEO and co-founder of Mognite. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, bro. So let's just start with the interview. I'll just ask some basic questions regarding the business we're doing. So what problem does our business solve, basically?
Yeah. Hi Raghav. Basically, like it's also like a pleasure for me to be the part of the show.
Yeah.
And like basically the thing we are trying to do with Mognite is like Mognite is a platform for teens to learn money management and
Mm-hmm.
personal finance
Yeah.
through interactive live classes and gamification. So like basically we aim to make every single teen in India financially literate, and like that is the vision that Mognite is running towards basically. And like basically, like as you see, finance is something, or money is something that we interact with on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and very less number of people in India have knowledge or literacy about the subject or money as a matter.
Right.
So this was a motive for me to start the spreading of the financial education for teens so that they can build a great foundation and they can be the future investors.
Mm. Great, great. So yeah, our main goal is to create potential possible financially independent citizen of the country, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So on our way to the development of Mognite, we're still in developing phase, right? So we face like
Yeah.
many problems in between. So what do you think was the biggest problem that we faced and how we overcame it or trying to overcome it now as well?
Yeah, so like as a founder's perspective, or like as a perspective of a founder, basically I would like to like state that the biggest problem that we faced at Mognite was employee retention, cause like
Yeah,
we were a new startup, people were joining us, and basically like what happened that the results were really slow. People
yeah,
were not willing to spend a lot of their time into the company, and basically there was some part of our mistake as well that we were not able to keep them driven and keep them engaged in the process. And like after we analyzed the stuff, after we got through a lot of processes to build upon, we got to a point where we like discussed upon this problem for a vast number of time, and basically we got to a solution that we would be making a lot of things for the employees in their favor so that they can also feel engaged and driven.
yeah,
And basically like one thing that we did really cool, and one thing that at Mognite is like really great, that our culture like enlightens
yeah, yeah.
innovation. So every single employee at Mognite is enlightened to become innovated basically.
Yeah, we want that same drive to be in every single employee of the company, basically. Yeah, that's great. So basically, now that you've been in the startup world for quite some time now, so what would you suggest to fellow entrepreneurs that how one should approach hiring and firing in a small scale startup business?
Yeah, so like being into the startup world from like 1.5 years, I can like
Mhm.
say through my experience that firing is more important than hiring. Cause like one thing that I have seen in my own stuff is that when you are a small scale business or
Mhm.
an initial stage startup, one thing that you have is that you have a limited amount of people working for you.
Yeah,
And one thing that a lot of founders lack in,
yeah,
they like they're a lot scared to fire people, and the people become liability to the startup, and the startup is in danger because of that. People, the startup is in on initial stages, and it is not relevant for the startup, and it is not sustainable also for the startup to take the weightage of the employee who is becoming liability. So I think one should be
Hmm.
more aware and alert about firing rather than hiring. And if I go about hiring processes, so there's no
Hmm.
need to hire more people currently.
Hmm. I think you're not audible, man. You're muted.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
basically, I was saying
Go ahead.
that there is no need to like focus or give much time on hiring.
Yeah.
Basically, hire a very small number of people, and like the big team would not help because you have to keep your resources limited as you have a limited cash fund there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, like keep limited number of people but passionate people who can really be among your like
Right.
beside you
Right.
in your struggle situations and can like let you overcome that.
Yeah, you're right. It's better to keep like few passionate people than like a full team that is working as a liability basically for you. And it becomes
Yeah,
your responsibility to handle them, pay for them, motivate them at times, and still
yeah.
just you can't expect results from them at the end. So that
Hmm.
makes a big difference to have less amount of people but passionate. That helps you
Yeah,
in low phases as well. Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
people will ask this question anyway, right? That what makes
Hmm.
us different from other
Hmm.
other edtech companies like Byju's or etc.
Hmm.
So how will you
Hmm.
convince? How should we convince the Mango Man or Simple Man to trust us that we are doing it for a noble cause?
So first of all, like I would like to say that one thing that defines everything in the tech world is basically the customer experience that you are able to provide,
Right.
and every single route or every single thing in Mognite, fundamentally, I
Yeah.
have as a founder, I have set some things about customer experience. Customer experience is the
Yep. Yep.
priority of whole Mognite organization, and as you are also the part of the organization, so you also know that like I emphasize a lot on the customer experience,
Yes. Yes.
and
You.
customer experience is the thing that can make your customer loyal towards you. And what customer experience does more than other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so basically customer experience give you and your customer a transparency to share your thoughts, as well as you give them an unconditional kind of a support where they feel safe and they are like confident to speak on the platform. And one thing that like we face on a lot of edtech platforms today, or a lot of traditional stuff that people are doing,
Mm-hmm.
so the classrooms are teacher centric over there, but
Yeah.
at Mognite we have made sure that the classrooms are student centric more than the teacher centric. Cause at the end, like what I think
Mm-hmm.
is, if a student is purchasing our course, our responsibility is also to make sure that when the customer or the student finishes the course, he or she
Mm-hmm.
should be developed as a person as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically if you are like giving me money, so the class should be student centric and teachers
Mm.
should be providing the student a lot of value in terms of life as well, not
Mm.
in the financial world, because that is
Yeah.
something that we are objected towards. But
Mm-hmm.
in the roots of Mognit, or fundamentally, as I said, this thing, the nurturing of a
Yeah.
student is really important at our platform.
Yeah, right. So you're right. So basically, while teaching finance, the overall holistic development of the student is also our responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So just winding up the business part, I'll ask you the last question. That what
Mm-hmm.
will you suggest young startup founders who are starting their business
Mm-hmm.
now, and what
Mm-hmm.
problems they might face in the development phase?
Yeah, so like basically, fellow young entrepreneurs, I would like
Mhm.
to suggest them to learn as much as possible,
Yeah.
because like being an entrepreneur is like you have different kind of challenges every single day. Like no day is similar to the other days.
Yeah.
So like every single day you have new barriers, new obstacles, and you have to be prepared
Yeah.
to pass them. And I would like suggest them that they should work on their EQ, emotional quotient,
Right.
rather than their IQ. Because this world, the business world, is transforming into emotional, like emotional strategies towards people. So If
Right.
someone wants to pull you down in the business ecosystem, they are
Yeah.
working more on the emotional side of the founder or the CEO of the company. So you have to be strong. You have to you will get to face a lot of problems in your start journey. But one
Yeah.
thing I would suggest, or one thing I would like tell you, is just hang on. Like, basically, you will find a way if you hang on there. And like, one thing I would suggest, that there are 99% of people who leave the space when it becomes uncomfortable for them,
Yeah.
but the 1% that stays are the legends, and they build a legacy throughout their lifespans. So basically, I would like to suggest them to be as much as hard they can be in the business, as well as on the other side be a lot empathetic towards your customers and employees, because like, business is run by humans. So every single employee interaction or
Hmm.
customer interaction, the other person is also a human. So you have to understand the human nature, and one gesture you can give to both of them is empathy. So
Yeah.
just never lose your empathy as a person, and just hang on there. You will find a way forward.
Yeah. Basically, as an entrepreneur, one should like have to get out of their comfort zone basically and understand the fellow employees' behavior to actually learn about their behavior and the emotional quotient thing you talked about. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
We're
true.
going great. So yeah, so winding up the business part, we'll come to uh, the tech part basically. So we'll be discussing everything about tech. So what's your opinion about the metaverse thing happening nowadays? After that, Mark Zuckerberg's cringy ad was released. So what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, so like, one thing that, like, the metaverse thing is like currently in a lot of trend, and there is a lot of boom near it.
Hmm.
But one thing that goes into it is like, what do you mean by metaverse? Metaverse is something that keeps you engaged in your screens. You are not, yeah, like, the argumented world is created for you rather than the real world. So you'll be
Yeah,
able to do every single sort of stuff that you were doing in the real stuff,
yeah,
and you can like reciprocate that or duplicate that in the artificial world. So
right,
like,
right.
in my perspective, if you see, we all are currently also living in metaverses, because
Right.
like, every single person on average spends 5 to 6 hours on his mobile phone or on their screens, basically.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So this is the kind of metaverse that is being created. And one thing that I like, like, I think is like, every single change in the ecosystem gives birth to a lot of opportunities. So it is not the end of opportunities or the end of humanity.
Right.
Humanity is a much longer game, and humans will find a way to get a lot of opportunities into that, and it would be a great experience to get into the metaverse as soon as possible.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what people said when internet came or mobile phones were becoming a trend, that it will take,
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
computers
Yeah,
came,
yeah.
that it will take employment, but it generated new forms of employment at the end.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that is what's going to happen. Let's see. Future is exciting, man. Yeah, right. So coming up to the next question. So as we are seeing that the blockchain boom basically. So what do you think about the
Mhm.
job opportunities that will be created in this genre, the blockchain thing?
Yeah, so basically, like, I would come into the aspect. So like,
Hmm.
let's go little
Hmm.
backward
Yeah,
in time. So basically, like, when Uber launched, so there were a lot of, so the mode of transportation at that point of time when Uber launched was rickshaws, basically. But after Uber launched, there was a lot of impact on these rickshawalas.
right,
But at the other point, Uber created a lot of opportunities for drivers as well. So
right, right.
basically, I would say that if there's another technology or evolution coming, it would take back some jobs, and it would create more jobs than that. So jobs are never gonna end. It's just that we have to adapt changes quickly. And one thing that I will like tell people or emphasize more on is
Hmm.
keep learning, because the future is going to change very quickly, and the time is going to run like literally very fast, because we are in a world that is changing every single day. We live on the technology world, where like there's always new technologies coming every single day, so we have to be adaptable to them as
Right.
soon as it is possible to
Right.
get the most out of them.
Yep. 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 That's great. So don't get me wrong here, but what do you
Yeah.
think? Is Elon Musk an alien?
Mm, I don't think so. Basically, uh, like, like people are having different perspectives to their lives. Basically,
Yeah.
what I would suggest. So basically, Elon Musk is a person who is having some things. He has a perspective, a determination to make something for the humankind
Hmm.
basically. So he's going into developing things for the humankind, for the future generations of humans. But one thing that I would like to say is that people should focus more on developing the earth, on the planet earth we live in, because
Yeah.
this planet has a lot of opportunities for us as humans.
Yeah.
But when
Of
it comes
course.
to Elon has a very great thinking system. So if you like read his thought process, you'll be very amazed, and like you'll be like you're shocked after reading that, because
Yeah.
it will tell you a lot of things about Elon, and which kind of like way he goes into, or he thinks basically out of the box every single time.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty right. Pretty right. So like continue that it's like a second part of that question only. Like he
Mm-hmm.
talks about that we might be living in a simulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and even ancient Indian yogis also said in few books that everything is Maya or Moh Maya, whatever. Like I was reading this
Mm-hmm.
book yesterday by Paramahansa Yoganand called Autobiography of a Yogi. And
Cool.
Maya, the concept of Maya is like portrayed very well in that book. So what do you think
Mm-hmm.
like about the stimulation theory that even Neil deGrasse Tyson is talking about these days? Is that
Yeah, I
like
think that.
yeah,
Yeah, so
just another
like
topic to talk
what?
about or what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like basically, I would like explain it in a very little manner, or a
Hmm.
very simplest way that I can explain. So like we have two kinds of worlds. So one is the material world which we live in,
Yeah.
and another aspect or another dimension to it is the
Hmm.
spiritual world.
Sure.
So as you have seen, time is something that in the material world things fall when time grows.
Hmm.
So your age falls, your beauty falls, your look falls, your
Right.
love towards someone falls. But when you see it through the spiritual world,
Hmm.
everything grows with time gradually. So your love for someone grows as you are like a very keen devotee, or your love towards nature, your love towards
Hmm.
your loving ones grows. Your age,
Right. Right.
you start living as a 15-year-old without any tensions, so
Yeah.
it grows. Your looks, so looks come from inside, and when you are in the spiritual world, you are working on self awareness more, and once you are self aware, your looks will also grow. So
Right.
everything in the spiritual world is a reciprocal to the material world that we live in. So basically I would say that yeah, we live in the world of stimulations basically, and the spiritual world is something that everyone should try once in their lives, and they like experience a lot new stuff. And basically going spiritual means going
Yeah.
beyond time and space.
Yeah.
So you are not,
You
you are
become
like
self-aware.
basically,
Yeah. In
yeah,
meditations
basically
and all.
that. And yeah, like it also like proceeds to further things, as like
Yeah.
it would get a lot in detail if I talk about them. So yeah, I guess we should keep them for the next time.
Yeah. Sure. So, like, we're talking about biohacking these days. So, would you like to live a human life and die, or increase your human capabilities by like putting chips in your brain and body?
Oh, one thing I had a very interesting fact about this. So like if you'll go on yoga and stuff, so the biohacking people are doing to these days is they are like putting chips into stuff. Basically, they are
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
trying to hack your human system or human stimulation with the help of some technology inverting into it.
Yeah.
And basically, if you see that there are a lot of yogis that are meditating on Himalayas since 400 years. So,
Yeah.
can we call it as biohacking in a natural manner? So, basically, yoga has a lot of chakras into it, and if you activate all of them, you become
Yeah.
Mrithunjay, which means
Mm-hmm.
you are a living death. And a living death is the greatest state one can be in. So basically, I would
Mm-hmm.
say that practicing spirituality, going into stuff, exploring yoga, doing
Mm-hmm.
things to enter the cosmic intelligence
Mm.
would heal you or give you more benefits than doing biohacking and stuffs, inverting chips into your body.
Yeah, right. So basically, what they are trying to do is replicating what our yogis did like thousands of
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so far the interview has been going great. We're enjoying it. So
yeah.
coming to the next part of the interview, we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about some questions related to finance. So what do
Mm-hmm.
you think is the future of finance in basically India and the whole world?
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
this
So,
fintech thing is
mhm.
going? Yeah.
Yeah, so like basically, like as I told you, finance or money is something that we interact on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And when we interact to something in daily basis and we have lack of knowledge about it, the industry would be growing really fast as the business is are always set up on things that people aren't able to do quite quickly or quite efficiently by them, so
Mm-hmm.
that we can provide comfort level to them
Yeah.
basically. So the stuff about the financial industry is that the financial industry would be growing rapidly in these coming years, and finance carry a great future ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, where do you see the integration of fintech and edtech 5 years down the line? What we're trying to do? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, it would be like a like great number of people or competitors would be coming into the league.
Yeah.
People would be trying more and more in the industry, cause so I would like tell you something that currently the market is molded in the way that it is the perfect time to go and start in the industry,
Yeah.
tech. So
Hmm.
basically, you can go and start stuff because there are a lot of ways you can teach students about finance, and like we have covered one aspect towards that or one dimension. There are a lot of dimension
Yeah.
left, so people can explore stuff, and there would be going to be a great competition in the league after the time is gone. Like if after like 1 or 2 years we'll be having a lot of competitors in the market, but one advantage we and some other startups would be getting is we are the early movers in the
Yeah.
market.
Yep. Yep.
And moving early in the market or starting early gives you a lot of
Hmm.
benefits as a founder
It
or
does. It
as an
does. Yeah.
organization. Yeah,
Hmm. That's great. So, like we're seeing the fan play thing happening right now.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, what's your views on fan pay, man? As in, is it good for teenagers to give debit cards to them? Explain that a bit.
Yeah, like basically Fampas playing a great role into the stuff cause they have revolutionized the
Yeah.
way we think about pocket money. So like they
Hmm.
have empowered teenagers. When I use the word empowered, I means
Yeah.
that they have given freedom to the their customers, and giving freedom or exposing your customers towards new opportunities is something that every successful startup has been doing, and they are doing pretty well in the
Hmm.
industry, and they
Hmm.
have been doing really great stuff out there, and
Hmm.
I guess they are also having a great future ahead as a
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just winding up the finance part, what are the
Mhm.
two key things or two takeaways that one need to be successful in the edtech world, basically?
Yeah, so like basically, as I was emphasizing a lot on customer experience, so one should be going with customer experience
Hmm.
as making it a foundational thing in their ecosystem of their organization, and putting it into every single employee's heart. Basically, that is the stuff that a founder has to do, and it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
necessary to do if you want to grow your organization. And secondly, there is two methods to be successful in the tech world.
Okay.
First, build a great quality product. People would love to use your product and it is like of the top notch quality. Or build a decent product and do a lot of marketing, mass marketing, which we
Hmm.
see Red Bull has been doing basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, like, I would suggest that you should have balance of both. But yeah, you have these two ways. You are the ones to choose. So basically, you can go with any of the ways, and
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you will eventually you will find success in one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like build a crazy ass project or product, or just do insane marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So coming to the last, not the least, most interesting part of the episode, let's do some
Hmm.
loose talks. So
Hmm.
basically, what have been our experiences being as teen entrepreneurs? What do you think? What we
Being
have we
yeah
learned?
being a
What are
yeah
learnings?
being
Yeah.
a teen entrepreneur in India has been a, I would say, a great experience,
Mm,
as I have like faced a lot of stuff being a teen entrepreneur. So
mm,
like it's a fun fact that most of the meetings, 99% of the meetings I attend, I am
mm.
the smallest and the youngest in the group.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically like it has two dimensions to itself. It is a two-faced
Mm,
sword.
mm.
One way people would appreciate your efforts
Yeah.
and would like appreciate the thing or the hard work you are doing in this age, and the
Yeah.
second face of the sword is that people would demotivate you and
Yeah.
would ask you to focus on your studies and leave this entrepreneurship and stuff and just work on your academics. So I think that being as an entrepreneur, you have to be really strong in order to take the criticism or
Yeah.
the feedback or the hate of people, because like people don't know what it's inside your head and they
Yeah.
don't know what you're imagining to build. So basically it's
Yeah.
hard to replicate what you're trying to build, but
Mm,
keep that in
mm,
your mind, keep that thing enlightened every single time you are awake, every single second you are awake basically,
mm.
and just live for that single dream.
Cynicals are all over the place, man. You have to be shrewd
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just get their criticism or hate. Just carry
Mhm.
on, move on. So
Yeah, but overall it
basically,
was
yeah,
like a great experience
yeah, it is. It
being a
has
teen
been. It
entrepreneur.
is. Yeah, it has been a great experience, and yeah, it's great to be on the same boat. So what drives you to do business at an early age, man? That's quite interesting.
Yeah, so like whenever I see people watching some external motivation thing, as viewing some motivational speaker or watching some motivational video,
Yeah.
it makes me laugh,
Hmm.
because there's one statement that will drive me and is driving me currently, and that statement is the odds to become a human being is 400 trillion to 1. So like if you mathematically count it, it is impossible to get another life on the planet,
Yeah.
because the odds are like literally very high, and like people are not taking advantage of it. They are like taking the thing for granted, and this
Yeah.
affects me a lot. And for this cause I have written a book, and
Okay. Hmm.
it's being published by a great publishing house in India,
Link in
and
the
the book
description.
style, yeah, book is
Hmm.
also like book is called 400 trillion to 1, the odds to
That's
become a
great.
human being. Yeah, and
That's great.
basically like
Cool.
the thing with the statement is, if you like store the statement in your heart, I
Hmm.
can guarantee you that you will never need an external motivation or
Hmm.
someone motivating you. You will be internally drive every single second you are awake, and you will be hustling 18 to 20 hours every single day. And
Yeah,
this is something that like people on the top are doing.
that's
So
what
you
it
have to be
takes
in
to
the
be on the top,
competition
man.
to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's great. I'll definitely put a link below about your book. That's title is great though. So coming to the last question of the interview, then we'll
Mm-hmm.
just wind up.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
something about networking, man. As in, how should someone approach talking to strangers in a professional
Mm-hmm.
relationship, like the
Yeah.
business relationship thingy? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, one thing I have experienced and I would suggest people do is work on your cold messaging and your cold emailing skills.
Hmm, hmm,
I'll
hmm.
tell you that this is the most important thing you can learn in the business world. So I
Yeah,
have been into networking with a lot of people through LinkedIn as well with the help of cold messaging. And the thing people do wrong in this part is they, while writing the message, they show that they want something in return. But rather than asking for something in return or showing that you want something in return, just appreciate the person and just give them the credit or just make them feel good for some time,
yeah,
basically. So and that will
yeah.
like be a great start towards building a great relationship. And one thing that I like one approach that I feel is really great to follow is the approach named as jab jab right hook.
Yep,
So it
yep.
is given by Gary Vee himself, and the approach is explained in a very simple manner that jab jab right hook means give and then ask. So provide immense value to the other person, and after some time ask, not take, ask. So ask comes after a lot of time, but you have to first focus on giving immense value without any
Hmm.
expectation of getting anything in return from the person.
Yeah,
And that is the thing that will make you great in networking, and that is one key to become a great networker. Nothing
yeah,
else would work, I
yeah. Be
guess.
selfless at the initial stages at least.
Yeah,
Then, like, it provides you like the grit to ask later, basically.
yeah,
Yeah. So cool, great man. It was great talking to you, and I learned so much. And I also hope that the audience got some values. Yeah,
yeah. It's a
yeah,
pleasure for me to be here.
yeah. Pleasure for me to have you. And yeah,
Yeah,
see you soon in the next episode. See you.
yeah.
Bye.